30 years old again? What would I start? What business would I get into? The world is my oyster in front of me. What would I do? And I put together this whole plan, and I'm thinking, by the time I finished mowing the lawn, I was 30 years old. I mean, I had the mindset, the bounce in my step, the vim and vigor, and I was 30, ready to rock and roll. So here's the thing you have to remember when you're first getting started back into the game of this blue collar sales type of thing. Man, it's a lot. It's just a lot of work. The other day I was mowing the lawn, and mowing the lawn, by the way, is the best way. It's like one of those things that you follow my dad's advice of, Danny, in this country, you need to follow the 11th commandment. And I said, what's the 11th commandment? He says, never pay retail. It's my dad. So what I mean by that is you don't pay to work out at a gym. Mow the freaking lawn and, get two things done at once, And so I'm mowing the lawn, which is great for exercise, but also you're alone, You put some earphones on and you're alone and you can think. And so it's like a 3-for-1. And while I was thinking there, I thought to myself, what would I do if I was 30 years old again? What would I start? What business would I get into? The world is my oyster in front of me. What would I do? And I put together this whole plan, and I'm thinking, by the time I finished mowing the lawn, I was 30 years old. I mean, I had the mindset, the bounce in my step, the vim and vigor, and I was 30, ready to rock and roll. And when you're 30, you can handle all the work that comes at you. And I remember when I first started my first business, and anytime you start a business, the first 2 weeks, you can't believe that you're able to do this. There's no way I can put in 20 hours a day. This can't last. This is inhuman. You can't do it. But then it kind of, goes off into the distance, and that'll happen to you. 100% it'll happen to you. You gotta muscle through the first 2 weeks, but it's like crazy work because you're of the mindset that this is your own business. And when people start a business, the amount of hours, there's no hours. You have no hours anymore. It's just you pounding away, learning stuff, and learning especially to understand that your job is not to sell and just do product knowledge and all that stuff. You're going to have to understand that you are self-employed. And ultimately, the reason why you're so good at this is you have experience and you have a history and you have friends and neighbors. You really do, who are in positions. And the way that this works for you so you can manage your own time is by getting self-generated leads. Now, your company is going to give you, hopefully 2 leads a day, maybe 3 leads a day. And you're going to get those, and you can complain about those. But the guys who really make a life out of this and do well, a couple $100,000 a year, not working crazy hours, being home for dinner, being able to have your weekends, all that stuff, are people that master self-generated leads. And you get self-generated leads by understanding marketing. Get used to making some videos, hotshot. I mean, nobody does it, but you will. And you're going to have to learn extra stuff that other people are not going to have to learn. And so understand there's a lot of work. It's a lot. When you think, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore, there's 10 more things you have to do. It's a lot. And then you got to do the stuff on the back end, understanding marketing and learning that, watching videos. It's not all that difficult to do, but you're going to have to stop doing the other stuff for a little while. And once you do that, if you get to the point where you could, really manage your own day, become a master at time management, at your personal time management, everything's great, and it's really what we want. This is the perfect job for old guys that can't get sales. What did I write? I wrote it on the board there. Yeah, well, it's home service sales for old guys. It's just so good. The amount of kind of connection you can get with your customer just because of your age and your experience is worth gobs of loot. So, time management, and we're going to play a little bit on that right now, and I just want to end with that. It's not a dirty word. It starts with, this is what you do. You listen, if you're like me, you're waking up at 4 a.m. anyhow. I don't know when the last time I used an alarm clock. 4 a.m. if I'm lucky. Now, I go to bed at 9, so that's how I start my calendar. I start it, I write it down, I'm waking up at 4, and I'm going to sleep at 9. And when I say go to sleep, that's when I go to sleep. It's not when it's not when I go to bed. It's when I go to sleep. And that's how you want to do. Isn't that great? You want to go to bed and fall asleep because you're exhausted. Because you're completely worn out. You want to get to that point. It's easier now when you get a little older to get to that point. So that's how you start time management. What time you're waking up? What time you're going to sleep? Do it right at the beginning, and you build in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, for scheduling your day. That's all I'm going to ask. Build in that time to schedule your day. And you can always move it around. You can always work it. But the 20 minutes that you take in the morning will save 20 hours of your week if you just do that. And really, you just need peace of mind, clarity of thought, and do what you need to do to get there. Just master that. Nobody else does it. Put in an hour for studying. Just an hour for studying, of learning something new. What is studying? Watching some videos on marketing. Learning how to do a headline. Learning how to make a post on Facebook, for crying out loud. Learning how to use Facebook Marketplace. Learning how to respond. Learning how to use Hootsuite, which is or any of these other automation features that you have. Learning how to use various AI and build your own agents. Spend an hour just learning, just watching some videos and practicing a little bit. I'm not asking you to accomplish anything. Just create the discipline of learning new stuff. What happens, a couple things happen when you get a little older. One is, one day you just wake up and you realize that you don't have any new friends. You're just like, when did I stop accepting applications? Sometimes a new friend comes in your life and you're like, what the hell is this? What do I do with it? It's like, what's happened is you forget that you can still create new relationships and new friends. A lot of times, that's why we're in this business of home service sales, because, a lot of my clients are my friends now. It's great. It's just great. You get people you can open up to. And the second thing is, you don't think you could learn anymore. You think for some reason you see a 30-year-old and you're like, oh, they must be great with social media. They know squat. They stopped learning 5 years ago. It's not that. You don't got to worry about that. If you do this hour a day and stuff, you will find yourself on the other side. You'll find yourself as the go-to person that people will go to. Hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? And your job at that point is to say, talk to the manager. That's not your job. Your job is not to get into management. You don't want management anymore. Management means you're taking care of other people, trying to impart your wisdom on them, and your success is reliant on a bunch of young guys who are just trying to make enough money to pay the rent and drink on the weekends. That's not you. You're not in that stage of life anymore. I want you to earn tens of thousands of dollars a month and time to spend with your family and your kids and your grandkids, and go to graduations and go to baseball games. This is the life for you. And it starts now with understanding that you're not going into this playing around. You're committing and you're putting in the effort. It's going to be hard and you're going to love it. You're going to get over the hump. Your job is about marketing. You're going to learn how to do marketing. You're going to learn how to make, by the way, a headline. You know what the reason for a headline is? The reason for a headline or a thumbnail post where they have a big thing on there that says, big blow to Republicans, big blow to Democrats, whatever that is, the purpose of that is to get you to read the next line. And that line is to get you to read the next line. And then problem, agitate, then the solution, then the call to action. You're going to learn all that stuff so it becomes natural to you. When you do that, when you get excellent in marketing, you understand the flow of how people's brains work, attention, interest, conviction, desire, close. And then you could utilize that in your sales when you get to actual real negotiating and sales training, when you're in the psychology of the moment. All marketing is basically a sales pitch on paper. Actually, I should write that down. That's pretty good. You will understand that from day one, your thought process is to get self-generated leads. That's what gives you your life, because you can schedule them according to your world instead of theirs. Sometimes they're going to give you a company issued lead, and it's going to be in Mozambique, and then you got to go down to Istanbul, and then you wind up in Atlanta, and so you're all over the place driving, and that's tough to do. By the way, when you're driving, there's special things to listen to and things not to listen to. We'll talk about that on another video. And then time management. Listen, I had a father-in-law who since died. I say because I still have one that's alive, but this one, divorces, you have a bunch of these things in your life. And he was a big dude in business, and great guy, by the way, but quite intimidating to me. And it got to the point where I was getting serious with his daughter, and so I had to go meet him. And he was a straight shooter, and so I met him at his office. And it was the time where there was like a big desk, and you were sitting in a little chair like this, so you're looking at me, yes, Daddy. And it was like very intimidating, all that stuff. And he was a tough guy. He would fire people in big rooms, whatever, if you were late and had an excuse. There was traffic, and you're fired for that. What you were allowed to say to him was, I'm sorry, I didn't leave early enough. It won't happen again. But the operative word was, I didn't leave early enough. So you had to take accountability. That was the whole idea of it. Because it's true. I mean, traffic, yes, but if you left yesterday, you probably would have made it. So he was that type of guy. And so I met him, and I'm talking to him behind the desk, and I said, and he said, Danny, he goes, let me tell you something. He says, you can take away my cars. You could take away my business. You could take away my plane. You could take away my job. You could take away my money. Even my family. He goes, I can get all that back. He says, you take my time, and it's gone forever. My time, he said to me, was my most valuable asset. And as soon as you realize that it is so for you, you have a chance. And I can't say I've always lived up to that, and I haven't, but I can tell you this. When you're getting started in home service sales or any new job, or actually, I'm just going to not qualify it anymore. When you're getting started in this new career, you need to have a firm grip on your time. It's all you got. And there's so much time in the day. There really is. If you got 8 hours to sleep, you got 8 hours to work, and you got 8 hours to work on yourself. Make use of that. And you're the top salesperson. It's a great life, and everything's good. Rainbows and flowers and that whole thing. I'm looking at my little cheat sheet here, see if I got anything else to say to you. I don't know. I think that's all. That was pretty good, though, huh? Leave some comments. Play around with that. I wish nothing but good things to happen to you all for the rest of your lives. Eat well, live long, prosper. Let's go get them today. You're the best. I'm the Deej. Let's hit it hard. Talk to you soon.